The hard stuff about purpose. Today I want to talk about the hard stuff around purpose, things people don't talk about when it comes to purpose because it's too uncomfortable and it's too little resonant with most people. But today we're going to be honest, we're going to be real, and I will talk about it today with you. Stay tuned, here we go. Alright, so let's get right into it. I want to talk about the hard stuff around purpose. First of all, I want to talk about the loneliness. That's number one. Number one is loneliness. You're going to feel lonely, and it's almost inevitable that you're going to feel lonely on this journey. One thing that will happen is that you might lose some people around you. You might lose a partner, a girlfriend, and maybe friends. You will lose people around you. Maybe people you love, maybe people you care about. But they are not helping and supporting your journey, or in fact they are standing in the way of your journey. And you can't blame everyone and say it's all their fault and say that's the reason that you're not following your purpose. That's of course outsourcing your power. Your power is within you, but it's also to look at your own life and looking at, okay, what is supporting me? What is supporting my purpose? What is supporting my mission here? And if that's not being supported by anyone, you have to be your own supporter. And in the beginning, it's probably just you. It's probably just you supporting you, because even though people might be enthusiastic in the beginning, you know, you have not enough proof of concept for people to buy into your dream or buy into your mission yet. And that comes over time. That comes over putting yourself out there, putting yourself more and more out there, and more people that will resonate with you and will support you along the way. That will come. All of that will come. But you start with nothing. You start with yourself and you supporting you. And that's kind of lonely. It's kind of lonely to be the only one encouraging you, supporting you, being there for you. It's kind of lonely, and it is just how it is. You got to accept that that's part of your journey, that it's not going to be the whole world screaming, let's do this, let's go. It's not going to be, come on Spider-Man, go. No, it's going to be you. It's going to be you saying let's go. And if you can get to be at peace with that the only validation you get is from you right now, that's when you know you can do this. Because at the end of the day, you only need you though. Even though all of that outside noise can be great, they also can turn against you. So as much as you can feel like you could rely on others and others supporting you, also that would not be a sustainable source, because the people that support you could at any point turn their back on you. So rather rely on your own support. Rely on your own validation. When you rely on your own validation and your own support and your own encouragement, you're gonna be able to do this for a long time. You're gonna be able to live your purpose for a long time, because it doesn't matter what anyone says or thinks or does. If you get the attention that you want or not, you will be going anyways. You will keep going anyways. Because if something is your purpose, you're not gonna do it just because people encourage you to do it. That is just people pleasing. People pleasing is doing things because other people encourage you. Oh, you should do that. Okay, I do it. No, that's people pleasing. Living your purpose is authentic. It means you do it despite what anyone thinks of it, because it comes through you. This is what purpose is. So number one is loneliness. You're gonna feel lonely. You're gonna feel really lonely. At least in the beginning, but even later on, you're gonna feel lonely, because you realize you need to rely on you. You realize you need to support you. You don't need someone to support you. You need you. You need you to support you. Secondly, one of the hard stuff, one of the harder things is the things you have to give up and sacrifice. You already talked about relationships. You already talked about maybe your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your friends or whatever. And that's just relationships. Also habits. There's a lot of things that you have to give up, meaningless stuff that you have to give up. there's a lot of people that are in meaningless cycles, doing things that don't add any meaning to their life. And there's no judgment on anyone doing these things. It's understandable, but there's also accountability needed to say, I'm doing this meaningless stuff and I'm trying to seek purpose. How is that gonna work out? I need to first let go of meaningless stuff before I even have the space to be ready to receive my purpose. Because from a place where you're occupied with meaningless stuff, you don't have any space left for any meaning and purpose in your life. But when you let go of all those meaningless stuff, there's so much space ready to live your purpose, to spend time focused on your purpose, because you're not focused on all these other things. That's the whole thing. So a lot of sacrifices, a lot of giving up. People talk about gain all the time. They talk about gain because it sells. If I talk about gain, it would sell a lot more. If I talk about what you can gain from living your purpose, they'd be like, oh, you can gain this and you can gain that and you can gain a life path, or you can gain a great career or a lot of money or all those kind of things. It's like, that's not where your focus should be. Your focus should be on the loss. Your focus should be on, what do I need to let go of right now? And then you realize there's a lot of stuff that you're doing on a day-to-day basis that you need to let go of. And naturally, when you let go of those things, you start to replace it with something meaningful. That's what happens. You don't have to focus on meaning, just focus on letting go of the things that are meaningless, because that's also how I found my purpose. My purpose came not because I was focused on my purpose. Actually, I kind of had given up on purpose. I was just letting go of all the things that felt meaningless, more and more and more, so that there was a lot of space left and time left and focus left on doing something meaningful. And it might start with something small, meaningful, to later on something bigger that's meaningful. And then lastly, the hard stuff around purpose is that it's gonna start from zero. Maybe you have to start all over again. And some people already, they have built something, they have built a career for themselves, or they have built a path for themselves. And they might realize that no matter how old you are, you might have to completely start over. You might have to completely go and be a beginner. Don't know what you're doing, don't know where you're going, but you have to start. You have to get started. And you got to start somewhere. You got to start somewhere, and many of you start as a beginner. Can you accept that? That you're a beginner? That you have to start all over again? Because maybe you were already on a path, maybe you already were building a business, or you were already, really invested into some direction, and it turns out you might need to go a completely different direction. Are you willing to sacrifice what you have built and what you have created, or where there is already momentum, for something that is purposeful, meaningful? And this is easy to say when you don't have a lot, right? If you don't have a lot, there's not so much to give up on. But for some people, they have a lot built up, right? They have a lot created for themselves. There's a lot of momentum already there. Maybe they have studied to be a doctor, and now they're a doctor, and it's making a good living. It's alright, it's good, but it's not their purpose. And they've studied 8 years for this. got their bachelor in that, got their PhD in that, etc. And then you have to give it up after all that investment, after you being quite successful as a doctor. Are you going to give that up? So you see the sacrifices that needs to be made to live your purpose, because you cannot live your purpose and also do a bunch of meaningless stuff. You're either living your purpose or you're really focused on things that don't mean so much. Are you willing to fully step into your purpose? Are you willing to fully go for it? And start as a beginner, start fresh. Or do you need to hold on to that thing that already has momentum, maybe already is getting some fruits from all the work and effort you have put into it? But that's not your direction. That's not your purpose. These are the tough decisions that we have to make. And I also made a video, I don't know if I published it already, about hard decisions. As a good life is based upon hard decisions. An easy life is always with easy decisions. But an easy life also leads to a hard life. Because an easy life is not easy. To eat hamburgers a day, every day you eat an hamburger, is not an easy life. You get some type of sickness, or you get some type of lack of energy. You don't feel vibrant, you don't feel healthy within your body. You're less capable to do certain things. And you can see how choosing the easy path, making easy decisions, leads to a harder life. How instant gratification can actually backfire on you. So sometimes it is these hard decisions. And many times it is these hard decisions that leads us in the right direction. And it doesn't necessarily start off that way, because you start off making a hard decision and you start off as a beginner and you start off kind of lonely, and you're like, okay, now what, right? I've sacrificed all of this for what? For my purpose? But then over time, you become less of a beginner. You become more intermediate. You become a little better. You can deal with the loneliness better. And you feel more aligned. And now you might start to feel actually excited. You might start to feel like something to live for. Or to die for. That's what your purpose is. That's how your purpose feels like. Something that you're willing to live and something that you're willing to die for. That's what purpose means. Doing things in an aligned way. And the direction that you're going right now, it might get some success in some way, but the success is empty because the whole process is not fulfilling to you. Doesn't mean the whole process has to be fulfilling. There's always parts of the process that are not fulfilling. But if most of the process is not fulfilling, it means you're very unaligned. And that the outcome, meaning the money that you make, the success, the status that you gain, doesn't mean anything. Because outcome doesn't matter as much as alignment. If you feel aligned with your path, that matters more than anything. Because that is why you're here. You're here to live an aligned life. You're not here to live a life that's completely unaligned, that feels something you don't resonate with, that makes you feel dense and stuck and harsh and brutal, and like going through the motions and pushing yourself to get through the day. That's not a fulfilling life. That's not a life of purpose. That's a life of survival. So ask yourself this question: are you here to survive, or are you here to thrive? Are you to survive, or are you here to thrive? Are you here to live meaningless cycles, or are you here to live your purpose? Are you here to waste time and energy on things that don't matter, or are you here to spend your time and focus your energy on something meaningful, purposeful, something you're willing to live for, something that you're willing to die for? These are the questions you should ask yourself. And then once you come with that answer, stick to it. Make the hard decisions and align yourself to your purpose. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.